My name's Dave DeBow, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewsyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content. Welcome back, everybody. And chances are you've heard a thing or two about self-storage facilities and what an interesting and lucrative investment opportunity that can be. Today's special guest, Chris Long, is zooming in all the way from beautiful Tampa, Florida, originally from Ottawa, Ontario. And Chris knows a thing or two about storage, but his take on it is kind of different. In fact, it's really quite different. So looking forward to our conversation. Chris Long, welcome to the show. Great to have you.
Excited to be here, Dave.
All right. Long yards. I see it behind you. Ties in nicely with what you do. Ties in nicely with the last name. What the heck is it? What does it mean?
Long yards. So it's basically self-storage yards for contractors. And I was a contractor myself, carpenter for 10 years, ran a construction company, and found a need in the marketplace that wasn't being fulfilled. It's just small, simple storage yards. And I had a commercial property near my house. And I'm a simple guy with simple thinking. And I'm like, well, if I need it, sure enough, somebody else does. And, built it out, bootstrapped it. It was a challenge to get it going because everyone thought I was crazy. No lenders or investors would get behind me. So I had to sell my houses to really put my name on it. In any case, threw spaghetti against the wall. It's stuck. Now I'm working on, expanding in the States, and we have 10 locations coming, and we built a franchise system. So kind of went all in and excited to just spread the word and get great people behind us to help with the mission.
That's exciting stuff. And now it's all coming together. We were talking a little bit off camera about our mutual friend, Bruce Firestone, and I can remember him bragging you up years ago, talking about this young punk kid that he knew or was working with or whatever, this contractor getting this started. So now it's all falling into place. So very, very cool. So you did proof of concept for yourself.
Yep.
Then what was the next step to kind of figuring out, okay, where did you start franchising this right away, or did you open up a few more, or how did that kind of come into play, Chris?
Yeah, so I mean, an interesting series of events kind of unfolded at once. It opened right before COVID. So like, I definitely had a big vision with it. I was like, there was a light bulb moment, like, oh my God, this works. And then like, oh my God, this can really work big. And that's when I was like, okay, if I want to go big, I got to go where I think the opportunity is big, and that was the States. It was either Texas or Florida. No, I wanted Texas. The wife wanted Florida. We're in Florida.
The wife
She
one.
won. Right. That's basically how that unfolded. And so now we're building out our location in Florida, and the construction, we had a few delays with that, just with the easements and entitlements and how commercial real estate could be, but we've learned a lot, taken those skills, packaged them up, and now built a franchise system, and we have, I think, a great offer for people signing up as partners. And what's unique, the mission that we're aiming to solve is creating affordable storage spaces for contractors. And you don't necessarily have to buy industrial real estate to make that happen. You could find the right real estate, and you could do a lease or a joint venture, or we could even partner with landowners and fill out our mission and create these affordable spaces for contractors, because it's such a need in the marketplace. So I had to think about what's the results of my business. And a lot of I grew up flipping houses, buying houses, turning them into duplex. I always had a real estate hat on for a long time. But then you kind of develop two worlds of business. There's real estate, and then there's business. And then there's like EBITDAs, enterprise value, a lot of franchising, and not necessarily franchising, but just more business language. And I realized I could merge the two of them. So it was kind of like, I'm going all in, I'm going in the States, and I'm gonna, I think, grow a lot as an entrepreneur as while I do that. And that's what I did. I burned the ships to get to the island, and I'm here, and now we're building fires and building cabins, and we're expanding the island.
Oh, that is fantastic. So for some of us that aren't in the contractor space, don't have the faintest clue, don't have any idea about this, walk us through who your ideal end customer is. What are they doing with the space? What have they been doing up until now if they don't have this solution? Just give me an idea of how that looks.
Right. So if you're in the space and listening to this, immediately you're going to have a light bulb moment, and you're going to go, I know that contractor. He's had this problem. And people in this space constantly face this problem. And it's simply having a yard space that is not too big, but just big enough for what you need. And that
Mm.
is really the sauce of what we're doing. And for most people, if you go on Crexi, LoopNet, most of your major real estate platforms, and you put in filters for where you are, and you try to look for a yard space anywhere from 2 to 20,000 square feet, it is almost obsolete. You cannot get it. Most landlords, they're like, here's a piece of dirt, 1 acre, 5 acres, maybe a fence. If you're lucky, go to town,
Mm.
right? But for a lot of the marketplace, you don't need that much space. You just need a smaller yard, and then we provide all the amenities, the power, cameras, office, container, everything else to make it a little ecosystem. So the client that I built it for was a client like myself. I was a contractor. I asked myself, what do I need? And
Mhm.
what I don't need is a long 3 year lease where I don't know where I'm going to be. I don't need a triple net lease. I need to know what my expenses are. And I don't need fit up costs. So I built a business around these things, and it's month to month when you need it and what you need for your business. So, and that goes to surprisingly a lot of people. So we're on a mission now to just really support these small businesses, which frankly I think need it the most,
Mhm.
and with great people in great locations.
So very, very cool. So it's kind of like the self-storage space, but you don't have the tin containers necessarily. Although it does sound like you do. Like, does each guy contractor have their own container on their spot as well, in addition to the fencing and all that kind of stuff to secure their tools and whatnot?
Well, that's the beautiful thing. So, I mean, you have certain limitations with
Yeah.
certain zoning restrictions in certain areas. You have bylaws that say what you can and can't do, right? And some of them are just sticklers for the containers. So you really need to make sure that, what you can put on the property will satisfy the zoning and the local building requirements.
Yeah.
So with that being said, an ideal, if you look at like a pyramid of the top ideal piece of land and property, it's heavy industrial. And then it goes light industrial and there's some commercial. The more intense the zoning and property class for industrial is, generally the less limitations and the more freedom you have, which means we could do the office, the containers, everything else for the small business. So yeah, it's the idea is to cater with them with as many adaptable storage solutions, which is our core values. We adapt to the marketplace, but we adapt to our clients as well. And that's the whole idea, right? What they need when they need it.
Yeah, I really like that, Chris. That is fantastic. So things are rolling out. So for a typical contractor, I understand each market's going to be a little bit different, but give or take, how much are they paying for like, let's say it's a rehabber kind of guy. He's got a pickup truck. You know this world way better than I do. Just walk me through like a typical guy, what he's got to
Yeah.
pay for
So
something like this.
maybe I should back up because sometimes I explain it, but people are like, I don't really get it. It's the weirdest thing. But like, think of like a boat and RV storage facility, right? You got a bunch of different lots. The only difference is now they're fenced in,
Yeah.
and you have maybe on a 10-acre property, you have 60 small fenced in yards, anywhere from 40 to 50 feet to 50 to 100 feet, and upwards up to 100 by 100 feet. And these are for exactly that. These small businesses, these carpenters, contractors, car dealerships, service-based businesses, you have local utility providers, you have larger corporate clients, and you have smaller, and you even have homeowners and hobbyists, little tinkerers that, have a boat, an RV, ATV, and they want to put it in one spot with a camera and kind of, get away from the wife and tinker on the weekend and have where all their toys are. It's really a world of possibilities. And demand is just so high. It caters to so many different people. So it's just a unique product that the market hasn't really seen. And what's fascinating about it is, I mean, it's all the same benefits of self-storage. It's passive income, right?
Mhm.
So for a business partner that we're bringing on, they get all these benefits of, first of all, it's a high success rate. Self-storage has about an 85% success rate as a business. It's passive. You need one part-time employee. You don't have a lot of different supply lines you're relying on. It's mostly software and tech based.
Mhm.
So, I mean, operationally, it's low drag. It's very simple. I mean, I explain to people that it's really simple, but it's not easy because getting the right location, leasing it up. I mean, there's a barrier to entry. It's about $1 million or $2 million. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, a lot of the similarities with self storage, and these are the clients, the ones that need it the most, the small businesses and the contractors.
No, I love it. I love it, Chris. So, what have you discovered in this process of franchising the business? I think you said you're at 10 locations now. So, how many franchisees do you have? that sort of thing?
Yeah, so right now we have about six franchisees, and it's a hybrid of four corporate locations. And
Hmm.
there's a long life cycle by the time you secure a territory, whether it be corporately with a location or a partner, which we call either a franchisee, or we do joint ventures that people would want to buy the real estate as well.
Hmm.
And then, obviously you go through your acquisition, your entitlement. So it's been a massive learning journey from how to underwrite, how to understand what the city needs to hear and how they need to hear it. Obviously getting lenders on board, right? One of the great things about Long Yards is as a franchisor, we got approved by SBA, which is extremely unique because now we could go find industrial property for, let's say, $1 million. And if your build out is, let's say, 800,000, and you need another 200,000 just for carrying cost, or even to pay yourself a small salary while you're transitioning from a W-2 into the business world.
Hmm.
So you're in $2 million. SBA will allow a lending program 90% loan to value, meaning you only have to come up with $200,000 on that whole project. And as most people know with real estate, which we teach anyone coming on how to underwrite, how to understand it, you could turn that $2 million property into sometimes 3, 4, $5 million with a massive cash flow. So now you're not like a traditional franchise system. You're not buying liabilities like trailers or equipment or leasing a space. You're buying an asset that's appreciating in value with cash flow with one part-time employee. And we're teaching people to do that. And it's just, it's a win-win-win.
Yeah, that's nice. Well, you're down in the States doing this. Have you come up to Canada as well with the franchise? Is it up and running back home for you?
Well, I mean, our first corporate location's in Canada, and
Okay.
I mean, I just fell in love with the States, so my main focus is in the States,
Well, it's
especially.
10 times the population, man. That's just the logical place to start for sure.
And you know what? It's the lending programs too. It's the mentality, it's the size, it's the banks. Canada is just it's harder.
Yeah.
I'll just it's a lot harder for many reasons. Not to say there's not great opportunities, and there's a lot of locations and a lot of people can use it in Canada. There's just a few more barriers to entry. But we have the tools and the systems to really know how to sneak through those. It just takes the right partners and the right people in the right location with our support to get through it all. But our main focus is definitely in the US, Florida, and Texas.
Who are you finding are the people that are most attracted to this as a business opportunity, as a franchise deal?
That's a great question. I feel like as I'm learning more, when I jump on podcasts or a network, a lot of real estate investors love what I'm doing. They love the real estate side, and they want to get involved and they want to partner. And that's, one of the main partner avatars that we've been targeting. However, in the business world of more business targeting, one of the biggest people that are loving it is service-based existing franchisees or service-based businesses,
Hmm.
like someone that rents bins or rents dumpsters. Because they, first of all, they're already in a service-based high profit business,
Hmm.
and they understand the pain point for land. So instead of them actually, having to like try to figure it out on their own and paying for land, we're like, hey, how about we give you a system where you actually get paid to have land to run your service-based business. So, they're kind of guys that are plugging in now and be like, hey, I really want to get behind this. This is really cool. And I want to secure multiple territories. So I have two worlds I live in. I have the real estate investing world, which is more like syndication, joint venture, bringing partners. And then the franchise world, in most cases, is more leasing, kind of like and SBA backs us on the leases too, which is really unique. And then just rock and roll, and you have a great cash flowing business for 10 years plus. And ideally, even with a lease, you can negotiate a lease to own on the real estate, depending on how creative we get. So long answer, but a lot of
No,
different
no,
ways.
yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Well, Chris, I think you've done an awesome job of explaining what the heck this is all about. And hey, hats off to you for that light bulb moment, having the cojones to, you know, go out and do it yourself in spite of lots of obstacles and in spite of lots of people thinking you couldn't do it or not willing to support you or banks turning up their nose at you like they usually do with new ideas. And then just packing everything up and going down south to really make it happen. That's fantastic. So if people want to find out more and connect with you, where should they go?
I mean, go to longears.com. You can complete a form and just fill out some information. I put my email, clong@longears.com. And hey, shoot me a call, 941-278-1995. Just love to network and meet great partners and expand this business.
Awesome. Well, all the best to you. And I can't wait to hear how things are going in a year or two.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it.
All right, everybody, take care, and we'll see you on the next episode. Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewyou.com. Now at moneypartnerformula.com, we help real estate investors to create a process for predictably getting capital so they can do more deals without relying on hard money lenders or the banks. We do this by building them a private capital marketing system. Now, if you want help turning yourself into a big money capital attraction machine, then book a call with our team to see how we can help. Just visit moneypartnerformula.com to find out more. All right, take care, and we'll see you on the next interview.